I see you lurking over there. Lurky lurker. What's going on? I might have taken a nap, and it might have lasted longer than I anticipated. So, you know, that happened. Let me scoot y'all a little closer to me. Hi, how's it going? Hey, Dyer. Got Dyer and Rhea in the chat. How's it going? How's it going? It's been like a whole week. Oh boy. I want to work on. So much to do on this one still. I gotta think about it for a second. Let's do... I guess we can do this real quick. Yep. Hey, stop sign! Welcome! Mereneth, which colors did you want me to use again? I know one of them was the orange guy. What was the other one? Was it an orange and a blue? I don't know what your fur affinity name is. It's probably Mereneth, but I'm not good with URLs. I get nervous. Hey, stop sign. Hey, Mereneth, what's going on? My Christmas vacation was pretty good. It was, not even the slightest bit relaxing. But, hey, you know what? I had a good time. So, is this piece on... Yeah, it's this one. I wanted this guy. Because I'm a loser who's gonna pull colors right off of this. How was your guys' vacations? You guys have a relaxing couple of days? Yeah. At the risk of sounding negative, it got a little weird towards the end. But you know what? Overall, it was a really good vacation. I certainly needed the time off. You know, it was nice. I took today off of work to get some stuff done. Did some errands and that sort of thing. So, you know, got some stuff done today. So this pattern, but more pink and peach, and less orange, less bright colors. Hey, it's an apple gravy. What's going on? Oh, stop sign. That sounds like a buttload of fun. I haven't gotten to see the new Star Wars yet. We were gonna try to go see it while I was home, and that didn't happen, so I'm gonna have to make time to go see it now. Oh my god, I have not been able to get rid of my cat all day. Now she's laying on her blanket next to me, but just... Oh my god. When I first got home last night, she, like, almost didn't really realize what was going on. Like, she kind of, like, was, like, looking at me like... Why the fuck are you here? There's been some weird old lady coming to visit me every day. Who the fuck are you? And then I went and gave her food because I didn't know if Sheila had fed her or not. So I gave Shay food, and as soon as she was done eating, she was all up my ass and just purring and purring and purring and purring and just so happy to see me. I woke up this morning and I had to like weasel my laptop out of my backpack just to get to do anything because I couldn't get up. I was stuck under the cat and she just laid on my chest for like literally 3 hours. And anytime I thought about getting, like if she got down to go do something and I thought about getting up, she'd come right back. So she obviously missed me quite a bit. Oh, for the female, the orange is good for him. Okay. I never asked you if the proto-Drasks had their bright colors or not. I know they do a lot of like physical body augmenting and stuff and you know, give themselves certain appearances, but I didn't know if it was still, if there were traits like that that were still common. Oh, apple gravy eating real food. I heard mixed reactions about the new Star Wars movie. I heard that there were some parts that were great and some parts that were not great, and so I'm interested to see it and kind of make my own assessment of it. I mean, I know it's basically a rehash of the original movie, but I really liked The Force Awakens. I found the characters very relatable. But I saw this kid at the Target today, and he was like the funniest little shit ever. Because most of the time you see the kids want to be like Han Solo, you know, they want to be the badass Han Solo character. And this fucking kid gets out of his dad's car, and he's got this little teddy bear that looks like Kylo Ren. And he and his brother are like running around in the street. And of course, I'm trying really hard not to walk into them. But he's like, that's the Luke Skywalker that I killed. Like, oh, your favorite character is Kylo Ren. Interesting. I was not expecting that plot twist. Where are these lines? Friends, where are you? You look like you should be on the line art layer. Ah, you're on that line art layer. Interesting. It was great. It was amazing. I don't see a way to make it make sense for them to not already have different colors. Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of gives them a reason to have all their fun colors. Shout out to Mage Winters and Apple Gravy for helping me while I was gone. Because I had literally nothing to do while I was waiting for my plane. And I was at the airport like 2 hours early both times. So I just sat in the airport lobby with my laptop. And I was using my phone as a personal like hotspot so I could talk to you guys. And I was just working on Lore Handle stuff the whole time. Just like sitting there and just writing and writing and writing. So shout outs to you guys. I have almost the entire character sheet for the Veos planned out now, so I can, once we get finished cleaning up the Jadoa one, we can get started on the other one. So that's fun and a thing that's going to be happening. That's true. Yeah, you were like hella sick, so I felt super awkward though because like of all the characters I could have been working on, it was the ones that like want to kill each other, and so I'm sitting in the airport just like trying really hard not to get weird looks while I'm looking up, you know, scarification on on Wikipedia, because like, I mean, I sent you guys that picture of me and my cat. Like, I am a small elf, and it's just, can you imagine, like, you know, you see me sitting in the airport parking lot, you probably think I'm looking at, like, anime, like a fucking weeb or something, and I'm over there researching scarification and whether or not it heals over time. Like, oh. No. No. She looks like she's into crafts and, you know, cute things, but no. She's designing snake friends that beat each other up for fun. Rennis, your cat came back. Yay. Oh no, stop sign. I hate that. I hate when people bring, like... I hated that at work, too. When I was at Babies R Us. Like, people bring their fucking kids in, and the kids, like, doing that gross, like, you know, congested cough, and, like, the little kids do that little cough, but they're not, like... They're not smart enough to cover their mouths yet, so they just sit there and just, like, cough directly into your face, and you're just like, can you not, though? I would like to live. The plane ride to Philly was fine. I didn't have too much trouble with that, but I guess his hooves would be this color, right? Or I guess his hoof fingers. But the plane ride back was like the worst fucking thing ever. Yeah, I kind of just threw it in there. But yeah, the guy I sat next to was like the nicest guy. He was so nice. You know, we chatted about family things and our jobs and stuff, and you know, because I guess one of his sons just got out of the military. He was so sweet, but he was a bigger guy, and I'm already pretty big, so aw, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Axie stack. I can't read your name. Evitena? Thank you. Welcome to the Axie stack. If you speak in chat, I will say your name out loud. It was hard to read it on the OBS there. But yeah, so he was so nice, but he was so big, and I ended up squeezed in next to him because the flight was completely packed and there was nowhere to sit. And so I had like 0 room on the flight back. My back hurt so bad by the time I got home, and I was just like, I'm not going home tomorrow. There's no way I'm gonna go home to work with my back busted. It's a Foogly! Foogly! I see you. Hi. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge you. I'm still getting used to this whole, you know, streaming thing. What's that? What's streaming? Haven't done that before. Hopefully if it's just a stuffy nose, it'll go away soon. Mereneth, Rhea, did we discuss the color of their clothing? I feel like we did, but that was also a week ago, so... I was kind of picturing, like, I was picturing real nice neutral colors, kind of like you would get from, you know, like, futuristic world stuff, you know, gray and white, but I don't know if you had other thoughts. Yeah. It was weird being home because my mom's cat's gone, so, like, my mom had no pets at all at her house. And then, of course, I got completely mauled by my dogs when I went to my dad's house, because they might be old, but they are love bugs. And they will try to play for as long as they can before they get tired. Okay. In case you hadn't noticed, I tend to just grab colors off of other things. Because that's how the axolotl do. I'm really sad that the guy who did those videos, scientific facts about the cuttlefish or whatever, I'm really sad that he didn't get to do axolotls, because I bet that would have been hilarious. Several questions. My first question is about why I did not color these vines better. My second question is, I thought I drew a tail on that guy, and apparently I didn't. Oh my god, why do these vines look like garbage? What was I doing? Did you guys let me drink and draw at the same time? Fun fact, I don't have any alcohol in my house. So, I might just be an idiot. That could actually be what the problem is. One of my dogs is a Cocker Spaniel, and the other one is a, she's a Border Collie Terrier mix. And they are old. And they are great. Although the Cocker Spaniel, you'd never realize. Until you start petting her and you realize she's got all these little bumps under her fur, you wouldn't really realize that she's getting old. The Border Collie is starting to show her age a little bit. She's, slowing down significantly. She's still excited about everything. I also just realized I never even put spikes on that vine in the back there. Although I guess it doesn't really... I guess you can't really see them from here, so... Yeah, oh, she is so smart. It's sort of criminal that we never did anything with her to, you know, take advantage of her smartness, because she is just the smartest dog I've ever had, ever met, really. We had some drinks at Christmas time, and I sort of miss having my fruity mixed drinks. Maybe one of these nights we'll have a drink and draw. I'm not the kind of person who's, like, dependent on alcohol or anything, so I could totally do it and not feel bad about it. I really actually don't like the taste of alcohol all that much, and it just makes me feel warm and gross. Like, if I drink too much, so I just don't. Golden doodles are great. Oh, so let me tell you guys, speaking of animals, and this is not really an animal story, but let me tell you the fun story of what I found when I came home from running errands this afternoon, because that's a great story. So I got home, and I, you know, just carried all my groceries in, and whatever, and I, you know, I looked over at the clock to see what time it was, and I noticed that there's this big black splotch on the LCD screen on my stove, and I'm like... That's fucking weird. Did I break the screen? So I go over to investigate, because it kind of looks like... Because from a distance, it kind of looked like the LCD screen got cracked, and, like, maybe the black part was, like... Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, on an LCD screen when, like, a... Like, when you, I don't even know if it's LCD, technically. But, like, when you, like, puncture an LCD screen, and it gets, like, that, like, the... I don't know, like, whatever's inside the screen, like, runs... And it looks like an ink blot almost. It looked like that from standing by my doorway, so I walked over to the kitchen and I looked at the light, and as I got slightly closer to it, it became apparent that the black splotch over top of the number on the clock was not an ink run. It was not ink running. I don't really know what the screens in a stove light are made out of. So I go get a flashlight, and I come over and I flash my flashlight over the clock on the stove, and there's just a cockroach chilling inside the clock. How he got there, I have absolutely no idea, but of course I called the office, and they were like, oh, the maintenance guys just left for the day, and they won't consider that an emergency, so you'll have to wait till tomorrow for them to come look at it. I'm like, excuse me, there is a small cockroach inside the clock on my stove. What do you mean that's not I mean, I guess technically it's not an emergency. My door was not stuck open, my heat was, you know, my heat is working, whatever. There's nothing's flooding in my house, but fucking gross. Yep. It was, definitely that. Yep. So, he's still there, because I don't know how to get him out. And it's pretty gross, because, of course, I went to, make things in the oven, and every time I went to, like, you know, touch one of the buttons, he moved. It's like, where I'm pressing buttons on the stovetop, it's like... Have another doodle time with Axie. So, like, my stove is, like, this shape, and then there's, like, the dials for, like, you know, turning on the stove or whatever, and then in the middle there's, like, the time. And then, but all the buttons along the sides are for, like, you know, turn on the oven, turn off the oven, make the oven hotter, make the oven less hotter, put the light on. And he's in this part, like, where it displays the time and the temperature of the oven, and it's super gross. So, like, every time I went to push one of the buttons, even though I wasn't really, like, compressing the part he was in, he still, like, freaked out and moved every time. I was like, can you not move? Please? Stay in one spot. Hope he dies and just stays dead. It's pretty gross. Not okay with that. Yeah, right? Give the oven a face and a bun. Yeah, definitely. So, about 800% done with that, so, they're coming, the maintenance guys are gonna come tomorrow. If it's still there, they're gonna try to remove it, and then next Friday, the, exterminator's gonna come spray for bugs again. Because he sprayed my apartment for roaches when I first moved in, because, like, within, like, 48 hours of being in my new apartment, there were, like, 3 cockroaches in my living room, and I was not having any of that. And then now we're having to do it again, so that's exciting. The lady was just kind of like, well, I mean, that's kind of apartment living, and I'm like, I have never, ever lived in an apartment that had cockroaches. I'm sorry. That's disgusting. You need to figure that out, because I've never had this before. I mean, I know it's common for, like, inner city, but I'm not in a city, you know? I just don't like it. Oh, hello, Evie. I saw you follow and then wasn't sure if you were still lurking. Hi, welcome. I'm glad you were finally able to stop in and say hello. Thank you. Since you're on FA, are you just an art procurer? Are you an art fan, or are you also an artist? We have many, many artists in the chat right now, so I'd like to check you guys out. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea how it got in there. And it also was not in there last night when I got home at like 11 o'clock. I got home. That's a whole nother story I can tell you guys then. But after I got home at like 11:30, and I guess at some point during the break the power must have gone out, even for like a half a second, because I needed to reset the clock on the oven, and it was like, oh, okay, like. Yoshi, calm down a little bit. You're a little too loud, my friend. But, so it wasn't there last night when I reset the clock, but there... it was there when I got home from my errands today, so... Oh yeah, stop sign, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're a little jet lagged. Go ahead and get some sleep. Or just exhausted from just existing. Flying is not as much fun. Yeah, so last night, my flight landed at, like 9:30, so I didn't get, it was a little delayed, so we didn't get back to my coworker's house to pick up my car. I was really afraid the car wasn't going to start, because guess what? It was a grand total of 9 whole degrees here when I landed. So my car thankfully did start, and it took us like a half an hour to chip all the ice off my windows and everything, because I could not get the car to warm up because there was just ice everywhere. But Douglas is free, so he was driving alright today. For anybody who doesn't know, my car's name is Douglas. Yeah, 9 degrees. Oh, that's right, stop sign. You said you were driving. Sorry. I flew, so my brain immediately went to just flying. Ah, Foogly. I'm so jealous. I wish it were mid-20s here, because it's fucking cold. Alright, so you're thinking, like, peachy colors. Probably similar pattern, though. Go ahead and get, like, a bit more red in there. Can you maybe not be up there where you're not supposed to be? That'd be great. Although the females have different patterns, don't they? These are males. I guess not really. Scooch. Keep all my reference up. Oh, Apple Gravy, please give me your weather. Send your weather to me. Oh, that's pretty cool. You got to see Cartoon Network's headquarters. Ah, very cool. What kind of tablet are you getting? I think in our Discord, and also there's a Discord if you're interested in joining, but in our Discord, I think Briar Weasel just got their tablet, so a lot of good tabletness going on for Christmas. My house is very comfy right now because I'm a wimp and I have my heat on, but it's also like negative a million degrees outside. Oh, okay, it just happened to be that way. Alright. Good to know. Good to know. Might exaggerate these colors just a little bit, but for right now I'm gonna stick with this funny peach color, and it's real easy to adjust if I need to. Okay, yeah, I see she's got, some of them got the, they seem to have a stripe down the middle of their neck, so I'm gonna keep that in. I like coloring your guys because you just scribble. You just fun. You don't have to fancy. Scribble on in there. I think before I get too far on this, it's that color. I think I like that better. And then let me also adjust the contrast just a little bit. There we go. Well, it sounds like everybody had a decently relaxing little vacation there. Mine got a little weird towards the end, but we had a good time. We were playing Jackbox games. We found a couple that are really fun that I think we should try on stream sometime because we were having a blast with some of them. Since they were all on sale, I actually bought all 4 party packs, so we have all the games now, so we can play whatever we want. I've never heard of that brand of tablet. What is it? A Huion OSU tablet. Interesting. Well, hopefully it works out for you. I think you can work with any drawing tablet. I think some are easier to use than others, but I think, you know, because some of them have more pressure sensitivity and whatever, and it can make certain things a little bit easier right off the bat, but you can absolutely accomplish anything. So I hit the save key because my cat is currently rolling, and I do not want her to accidentally hit anything. I'm jealous of you having a few more weeks because I have to go back to work. Technically, I was supposed to go back to work today, but there was no way I was going to have enough time to get everything done that I needed to get done if I went into work, so I didn't. And I'm glad I took today off because I had a lot more to get done than I thought I did. Maybe, I was planning to do Ori tomorrow, and I bought a new controller, so we won't have any more... I haven't tested it yet, but hopefully we won't have any more crazy issues with that game, and it will actually be functional now, and any mistakes I make will be my own fault and not completely out of my control. Which is fine, I can accept my own mistakes. But, if that doesn't work, we can certainly play some party games. I got tons now, so got lots of choices. The schedule's gonna go back to normal after this week's over, so that'll be nice. Yeah, same, Rhea. I mean, I can, and we were actually doing this this kind of cool thing with one of my mom's friends called Zentangle, and it's this thing where they sort of give you like, it's kind of hard to explain it simply, but you kind of give yourself, like on a canvas, you kind of map out where you're going to draw, and then just doodle in those drawing spaces. It's supposed to be a way to help you relax or whatever. Actually, probably up. Yeah, see, so you you get, if you have the kit for it, you can do it on anything, but you make yourself like a little square and then just doodle inside the square. And some of these, like this is a really specific thing. Like this pattern has a name, this pattern has a name, this pattern has a name, and so it kind of gives you structure to doodling, because if I doodle, I want to draw character, but with this thing, it's supposed to be relaxing because it's all symbols and you're not focused on whether or not the subject is correct or not, because you're just doodling. That was kind of fun, and I was going somewhere with that, and I don't remember where I was going with that, so I've lost the story. Oh yeah, please, Evie, please give me the hot weather. It is 9 whole degrees here, and I would like for it to not be 9 degrees. I will take your hot. Give it, please. Oh, I want to be on that layer. Thank you. Oh, I remember where I was going with that. The moral of the story about Zentangle was that, by the time we were done doing the Zentangle thing with my mom's friend, I could hardly move my hands. My hands hurt so bad because when I draw traditionally, I grip my pencil so hard. I was very relaxed after we were done with it, but my hand hurt like crazy. And I did all the stretches and everything to like relieve that, but it occurred to me how hard I grip my pencils, and it's really too hard to keep drawing traditionally, so I do this. I can do both. I just prefer this because it doesn't hurt me quite so bad. I can do Jace. Jace works too. I was just calling you Evie because I wasn't sure what you wanted to be called, and that was in your username, so. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that's a thing. My hands just my hands are just bad. My hands shake quite a bit when I don't have my tablet. This brush set, I set the settings on them in a really specific way to like combat my shakiness a little bit, but it's not nearly as good smoothing as you would get from something like Illustrator or Paint Tool Sai. I think that's why people like Paint Tool Sai so much, also that it's, you know, free, but that it has that smoothing that's super, super duper nice. Actually, I meant to play with this. Oh, it just makes it slow. Interesting. Well, I'm sure it does more than make it slow, but I'm not interested in messing around with my settings at the moment. People call me everything under the sun here, so I'm, you know, I'm fairly chill about names also. I'm Axie and Artsy, and I'm Kayosika, because Rhea can't stop calling me that, which is fine. So I get called pretty much everything. So I will call you whatever you wish to be called. Pretty chill. Very chill. Interesting. So your hands just tremble. It's just like a... Not quite a... I'm trying to think of what I'm thinking of. I'm certainly glad I don't have that. That would suck. Well, yes, Control Z will help you infinitely if you want to get into drawing. Sweet. Glad I got it. Because otherwise I was going to sit here and fiddle with it. I really fucked up the underlayer on this, the base layer on this, though. So, I don't know if you guys have Trader Joe's where you live, but I went to Trader Joe's for the first time today, and it was like the greatest experience of my life. That store is magical, as my sister described it. Everything was so cheap, it was unreal. I mean, I spent a lot of money, but I bought, like... It was, like, all, like, you know, fresh organic stuff, and I got, like, pretty much everything I need for the next couple weeks, and it didn't cost me that much money. And since the store is so small, I didn't find myself wandering up and down aisles going, I wonder if I need some of this. I wonder if I need some of that. Like, it was just like, oh, no, you don't need that because it's not here. They wouldn't hire you? Oh, no. Yeah, it was awesome. I got so much good stuff. So today is my last day of, eating like shit. going back to trying to be a real human being tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm doing for lunch because I did not plan that far ahead, but all right. So here's where we're at. Bop, 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 bop. Okay. Now. Since we hadn't decided on specific colors for him, I think I'm gonna go through and do the plants quick. Go ahead and clean these guys up quick. Are you generally ambidextrous? Kind of what it sounds like, out of curiosity. Ooh. I don't actually know why I had that clip to that in the first place. I am very much not ambidextrous, and if I try to do any, in fact, we'll do a little experiment here, where I'm gonna attempt to color this with my left hand, and it's not quite as much fun. That should be a stream we do one day. It just feels wrong. I think that's all that it is. It just feels incorrect. We should do a stream where I take sketch requests, except that I do all of them with my left hand. Gotcha. Do you want me to, do you mind that he's a little bit older looking in this picture then, or would you like me to go back and just recolor that white to something a little bit less white? It would be very easy to change it if you want me to change it. So if you would like me to make it maybe like a light orange, I can do that. But let me know what you would like. If you don't mind it, then that's fine. Or were you just pointing it out so that I know lore about your friends? Oh, I didn't tell you guys, but I did in fact get a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. That was pretty much my only Christmas present that was like a big thing, I guess. I got a lot of smaller things, like little thoughtful things that were really super cool, and we had to ship everything out to me because I couldn't bring it on the plane. I had too much stuff and I didn't have enough backpack space. But I'm really excited to go through all my stuff and, you know, put some of it out because I got some cool little like figures and trivia stuff, and so I got a lot of neat little things. But my one big thing I got for Christmas was a Switch, so we can play Breath of the Wild. What is Puyo Puyo Tetris? I want to play it. It sounds fun. Just for lore. Okay, good to know. It's kind of interesting then to have an older character and a younger character standing there. Back to plants. I feel like I've heard of that actually now that I've said the name of the game out loud. I feel like maybe I've heard of it, but not played it. Obviously. That's true. Maybe just for a little bit though, maybe a couple of days of just streaming that. Just to play it a little bit with you guys. I don't know that it would be a full-time, you know, kind of like, I don't think it would be like a, you know, several days a week kind of stream, but certainly if I were streaming more than working, but yeah, no, Crow, you definitely have an excellent point there. That would take me ages to do anything substantial with. It was a thought, you know, maybe one night to just check it out and fiddle with it. I just remember that Nugget was recommending it, so you know, that's a possibility now if I ever want to do a little bit of fiddling with that game. I'm hoping tomorrow before the stream I can get some time to fiddle with the new controller and get that set up, so hopefully Ori and the Blind Forest isn't a complete nightmare tomorrow. And I can actually play the game like a regular human being. If the trouble I'm having with at the part I'm at is not a controller issue, though, then we might have to drop Ori, because I'm not interested in stressing myself out over that game, even though it's very fun and very cool. Dyer and I had that discussion the other night, so we'll see. We'll see. I got lots of choices. I have tons of stuff to do. You guys gave me so many awesome suggestions on the Discord that there's too much. I don't know how I'll ever get it all done. But you guys gave me some cool suggestions, so poke everything. Yeah, no, Rhea, I wouldn't. That's super lame. See, like, my sister and I didn't get, like, we got at least one thing for every person, and we tried to spend no more than, like, in some cases we went a little over. We tried not to spend more than, like, $10 to $30 on each person, though. Mostly because we didn't really have the budget for it, but we don't have, I mean, we have a bigger family, but it wasn't, like, so big that budget limit was gonna be wild, you know? And we did our best, we did what we could, but, you know. But some of the stuff was little, it was like a little thing, and we just did our best. It's super not, I remember you talking about it on the Discord, it's super not cool that, like, nobody got anything for you. That's so uncool. But no, I wouldn't waste your time next year. Keep that money for yourself. Only get presents for the people you care about. I think some families put more stock in the gift giving too, though. Like my dad, he always feels weird about giving people just gift cards and stuff, because he wants everybody to have that, like, you know, childlike feeling of opening presents on Christmas with your family. And so he feels awkward about giving people, like, you know, not physical presents to open. I just realized I don't know why I'm doing this way. Like this. But, you know, I think other families maybe don't put as much stock in it. There was the lady at the Trader Joe's I was talking to today said that their family's not really big into gift giving at all, so nobody ever gets anybody anything in that family, and they just spend time together, and that's cool. It's interesting how everybody has a little bit of a different take, but it super sucks when you go in with the expectation that, you know, everyone's getting presents for everybody and then you don't get anything. That's not cool. Nah, Mage, I'm so in. I'm in. I would have been too, honestly. I actually mostly was hoping for gift cards this year, just because I knew I wouldn't be able to take too much stuff on the plane, so if people got me, like, Amazon gift cards, I could get stuff for myself and have it shipped to my house, but... negatory. We had to have physical objects. So, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I'm super grateful for all the stuff I got, but it would have been really convenient if I could have just brought it with me. But, hey, you know what? Can't be mad about nice presents. People were nice to me and got me stuff, and I'm really happy with everything I was gifted, so, you know. My words are not words of salt. They are just words of slight exasperation, but mostly excitement. My excitement is from the fact that I can't use any of it yet because it's in a box on the way to my house. My dad was super cool and shipped everything for me, so that was sweet. But... that's certainly a good point, too, and I struggle with that a little bit, too, when I'm asking for Christmas presents, is that I always want something practical. Like, I don't want to ask for just things, you know? I'm not the kind of person who just wants you to spend money on me just to spend money on me. Like, if my family's gonna buy me something, I want them, you know, because, like, one of the things I'm interested in buying at some point in the future is a PlayStation. Because I've never had a PlayStation, and I can use a PlayStation also as a DVD player, as a Blu-ray player. So I have the benefit of having the opportunity to not only play games I've never played before, but also to just use it as a Blu-ray player. But I get home from work and I eat dinner and then I stream, so I really don't have time for a whole new game console. So I decided just not to ask for it, because somebody would have spent, you know, if somebody really wanted to get me that, they would have spent a shit ton of money on me for me to not even use the thing they got me, you know? And, because you're right, it's not about practicality, it's about fun, but I also kind of had this concept in my mind of, like, you're going to spend a lot of money on me if that's the kind of thing you want to buy me, but I'm not going to use it. I still have games on my shelf over here that from, you know, birthdays and Christmas. I have a game somebody got me for the 3DS, like the original 3DS, not the XL or the, you know, new 3DS or anything, like the original 3DS that somebody got me for graduation that I have not even taken out of the plastic wrap. It's still in the plastic wrap because I had no reason, because Club Nintendo had died by that point, so I had no reason to take it out, and I just never played it. I never had time. I just didn't. And I felt really bad about it. I still feel really bad about it. Sometimes I look at it sitting on my shelf and I'm like, I really wish I would have played that. But it's almost, like, too late now. Like, we've moved on to so many other things that I just don't have time. And I feel bad that the person who got that for me spent money on that, and I never used it. But... let's see. I have two of them. I have, one of them I bought for myself. One of them was, which Zelda game was it? The Zelda game that was, like, I think it was the remake of A Link to the Past, or maybe that was the name of it. The one where you can become, like, flat and walk on the walls. That I opened to get the code out of it so that I could get rewards on, Club Nintendo, but I never actually ended up playing the game. The one that I was gifted for graduation was Majora's Mask, the Majora's Mask remake, and I never got around to playing it, and I want to play it so bad, but I never got around to it. And it's been 2 years since I was gifted that, and I still haven't touched it. Not for lack of wanting to, I just don't have time. Maybe that's something we could do on the stream. I gotta figure out if my 3DS is even up to date enough to do that, but I think I need to fiddle with my settings a little bit and make sure that my my hacks are still good to go, but maybe that's something we could stream. I could stream Majora's Mask on the 3DS. Probably, again, another several week stream if I don't start mixing more game streams into the week. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't for a lack of desire to play them. It was just that I never got the time to. Graduation was really rough for me because my entire life was uprooted, and I know I was a complete asshole to most people, and like it was just kind of a rough time, and I was so focused on just trying not to freak out and lose my mind that I never got around to, you know, playing games. I didn't do a lot of games and things like that. So it was a little bit of a weird period of my life, so I never got time to use them, I think. I think I was doing a lot of Pokemon at the time, because if I'm remembering correctly, that was when X and Y came out, and I was in the process of completing my my living dex at the time, so a lot of my time was consumed with, like, hatching eggs and, like, traveling around the map with, like, a list and collecting everything that I needed, so I think I also forfeited some time there. You know, all the time I spent building a living dex for Pokemon, I could have absolutely spent doing, you know, literally anything else. I was also really into shiny hunting in that game for a little while, because I was actually good at it for once. I don't know, in past games I was really bad at shiny hunting. I never really understood the method on how to do it, and I wasn't really good at, like, IVs and stuff, but now I understand it a little bit better, and I'm sort of okay at it. Hey, it's a Briar! And an Aura! What's going on, guys? Which one are you looking for, Rhea? I'm not super familiar with SNES. That was a little, when I started getting into video games, it was N64. N64 was the big one. One thing that just occurred to me. These guys need a color overlay. Color. Blend them in with that color a little bit. I sort of wanted to go with these, like, slightly more dull colors, because it's sort of not it's not really a bright, colorful piece, but I also can't avoid colors, because that's, like, one of my favorite parts of a drawing is the colors, so I kind of went with these more, like, gross colors, like these kind of, dare I say it, almost puke greens, just to kind of make it seem more horrible, because I can't not do it. That's just not me. I can't not do color. So hopefully the color scheme is working, because I don't know what I'm doing. I also thought of something I wanted to do with the buildings, and if I have time, I don't. Okay. If we have time, I'll go ahead and color up the buildings a little bit more too. I think I want to make the outside, like these balcony edges, I want them to be a different color of the walls on the inside, and I think that'll help me. I think that's what's bugging me about them right now, is that there's not that much variation in the color. But oh, you meant the SNES Classic as in the console thing, not as in a specific game. I thought you were talking about a classic game. Gotcha. Ah, Briar, that's awesome. I love the feeling of getting works in progress on stuff. I'm really excited. I don't know if I told you guys. I found an artist. I think I did because I think I brought up her stuff. I found an artist on DeviantArt who has a lot of really cute Pokemon plushes, but I sent her a note asking her if she does, if she would be interested in doing, or if she would be able to, interested or able to do Chompzilla from Plants vs. Zombies Heroes, because I love that character's character design. And she got so excited about what she was going to do for that. So hopefully I'll start seeing some stuff at the end of next month on that. You know, she said she's going to finish up the commissions she has currently and then get started on that. So I'm excited. No, please don't. Okay. Okay. Hi, kitty. Come sit with me. Alright, kitty cat's coming to sit with us. Somebody didn't snuggle with me enough today. We didn't get enough snuggle time this morning. I was trapped in bed with her for like 3 whole hours. Laying on my chest, purring away. She's gonna be so mad at me tomorrow when I go to work. I figured that even if it's not like technically Twilight, that this color would kind of look almost like apocalyptic because it's got that like orangey fiery color in the air. So technically it could be the middle of the afternoon in this picture, but there is like lava and fire everywhere. Not lava, but it looks like there could be. The world is exploding, so... Hopefully you like this color so far, because otherwise I can adjust it. That's the nice thing about working the way I do, is I can really easily just adjust the colors if they're not quite the way I want them to be. You know, if I get halfway through something and I go, well, I'm not really feeling that color anymore, I can just fix it. Yeah, Briar, that's a great question. Is it like a real name, like Tom? Or George? Or is it gonna be more of like a more foreign-sounding name? I don't know what sorts of names you give your other characters. They sound like pretty, like, ordinary English type words, though. They're not, like... Can't even think of any names off the top of my head that are, like, crazy. They're not, like, they don't sound like they're alien names, though. Really quick. I think I'm gonna stop doing that for a second and adjust these. Bugging me a lot. I want to fix them, so... I might take this to work with me tomorrow and try to get the coloring finished at lunch. Or get another bigger chunk taken out of it. Just because it's taking me a little while to color everything and I have all these ideas for, like, things I'm gonna do to it in, like, the later stages, but getting there is the problem. How much of this can I grab? Not enough. Ooh, that one highlights everything. Gonna work unless I merge all these layers together, which I might do. Now can I select these? I can. The more stuff I can just grab and highlight, the better. Of course, this back part's gonna kill me because I realize there's an entire section of vine I didn't color in there, so that's fun. That's a thing that happened. Did you guys hear about the absolutely absurd amount of snow that Erie, Pennsylvania got over the break? I wasn't even remotely close to Erie, but I heard they got like 60-something inches of snow. It's like an incredible amount of snow. Apparently we just got, you know, ice here, but... Yeah, I like Chrissy or Rose. I think those are cute names. They had to call in the Erie, Pennsylvania had to call in the National Guard to help them remove the snow because there was so much snow and it was still coming down. I think they got like 60 something inches in like several hours. I don't remember what it was now. Coloring everything in by hand was taking too long. Yeah, it was like 68 inches, I think. But it was such a big deal because not only was it like a shit ton of snow, but it also happened like overnight. Like it was within several hours. It wasn't like they got like some snow over the course of a few days. Like they got like it all came at once. Gonna mess up all their school districts and stuff. Like, I don't even know what happens at that point if you're, like, you know, a school. Like, I know at my mom's school, if they have to take snow... Like, they have so many snow days allotted, but then any additional snow days after that, like, if there's a really big blizzard or something and they, you know, need more than whatever the allotted number of snow days was, they have to, like, pull it out at the end of the year. So that's gonna suck. At least that's how it works at my mom's school. I don't know how that works in other elementary schools or high schools or whatever. It's sort of interesting that you're, you know, with the on the topic of the naming characters thing. It's sort of interesting because it's kind of like picking names for your children, you know? Like, you gotta, and it's funny because sometimes you have to pick names you don't really like that much. Because somebody else, you know, maybe that character's parents would have liked that name even if you don't, and it's sort of interesting. These characters are kids. I think the buildings in the far back I'm gonna leave all one tone, but the ones in the front I'm gonna give this two-tone color to just give them a little extra detail. I don't know, I think they're kind of plain at the moment. I think that's just because I haven't done any shading or anything with them, but I feel weird not giving them anything. I just don't, it just doesn't seem right yet. Oh, that on the liner. Hang on. Wrong layer. Oop. Ignore me. Yeah, I think like that's perfect. And we'll select. Oh, hey, Binding of Isaac, what's going on? kind of feel like I should maybe give that color to the bottom. Well, I guess you wouldn't notice on the buildings all the way back there. Okay. How much time do I got? Not that much time. Okay, let's really quick have the discussion about their clothing. What color clothing would they have? Are you thinking, like, the risk of making it sound boring, like stock, you know, futuristic, where it's all, like, whites and grays and neutrals, or would they have more colorful clothing? I love Binding of Isaac. That game was super fun. There was one night I was working on this stuff while you weren't here, and I had some people, somebody, I don't remember who it was now, somebody in the chat was like, oh, I know this guy's characters. Like, they knew who it was. They like recognized your stuff. It was like, I mean, not that they're not your, that's not your art necessarily, but they knew who your characters were, which was kind of cool. Must have seen them around on Fur Affinity or something. My last one, I had this giant army of babies, and they got D for D'd into this invulnerable explosive nightmare, and I AFK'd Mom's. Oh my god. That sounds fantastic. I haven't played that game in a long time. I definitely want to go back to that. In fact, that's even something we could do on stream. I want to get back into that game. I want to finish Crypt of the Necrodancer, but it's a little bit too hard for me. I'm pretty chill about losing at it a lot. Like, because it's the kind of game that's you're supposed to die a lot in. It's not supposed to be easy, but I still get destroyed so often in that game because I'm not good at patterns. So, like, on the fly. So, maybe Binding of Isaac would be a little bit of a different departure. Colorful, or greens and browns. Okay, that makes sense. I guess, yeah, because they have such a big influence from plants. I'm trying to now remember who it was that said that, but somebody recognized your creatures one stream. They zoomed out to show them what I was working on, and they were like, "Oh, I've seen those around on Fur Affinity." Apparently, they know who you are. Which layer did I color that on, or did I make it its own layer? Yay! Briar has an actual fish! What kind of fish did you get? I have to feed my fish tomorrow morning, because, they haven't eaten in 5 days. So I'm surprised no one's killed anyone yet. I was half expecting to come back and one of the clownfish would just be missing. Not because they starved to death, but because the female clownfish got pissed and then killed the other one. Hey, if Ori and the Blind Forest doesn't work tomorrow, we'll do Binding of Isaac. Gotta fiddle with this new controller and see if I can get it to work. I don't know how I feel about that brown on the lamppost yet, so we're just gonna leave it, and I'll come back to it. You were gonna get a betta because you wanted a gourami, and the local fish store had never carried them, but they had a single dwarf, and I fell in love. Aww! Jack Frost, that's an awesome name. Hang on, I forgot what they look like. Oh, they're so cute! Oh, how cool are they? This one. He's slurping. Yeah, this music is really good for this. Here, let's see what nonsense I had on tap for, shading. Wow, what the fuck was I thinking? Alright, we might have to revisit the shading another day. Because... not quite what I was thinking. I think I just smeared some color in there just to get an idea, but... Okay, so... it is 10 o'clock. I have to go get ready for work tomorrow, because unfortunately I have to go to work tomorrow. So, for right now, that's where we're at. I'm gonna write down... I'm sure I'll be able to read that later. That way I don't forget what color their clothing are, because I'm going to ask you again, and we're never going to remember. So, yeah. Gonna leave it at that. Real quick fix this, because I just realized I made a mistake, and then I'm going to stop touching it. Bloop, okay. Alright, done. Not touching it. Put the stylus down. We're done. Yeah, Crow, you did an awesome job with this playlist. So, I am gonna head to bed. I'm gonna stick this in my Dropbox, and take this with me to work tomorrow, see if I can get the color finished. That way we can do shading next time I work on this, and then hopefully I can get this done for you. Maybe I can get it done before the new year, that'd be cool. So I'll be back tomorrow, maybe with, Ori the Blind Forest if I can get my new controller to work. If not, we'll do a different game. And then... they had him with some Dalmatian mollies, and it looked like they bullied him. One of his feelers is 80% missing, and he is missing some scales on his face, but he perked up when I put him in my 10-gallon. Oh, that's so good! I'm so glad he's doing well. You should post pictures of Jack Frost when you get a chance. Put them in the Discord. Do it. So, okay. Yeah, so I'll play, we'll try Ori tomorrow, or else we'll do something else. And then I'll come back Saturday and we'll do something Saturday. I don't know what we're arting on Saturday, but Saturday is another art day. Oh yeah, thanks for coming to hang out with me, guys. It feels good to be back. My routine is here. I'm back to my regular routine. Yeah, so if you're, not following already, you know, go ahead, join the X Tech, hit that follow button. Did I miss an outer wall? Where? Top, middle. Second floor from the top. This one here. I think it just ended up lighter than the other ones, if that's the one you're talking about. I'll fidget with it tomorrow. And if, for Forgot your other name already. Evie, if you have not yet and are interested, we have a Discord. The link for it is in the tags under the video. So if you would like to join and you're into Discord, we have lots of artists there. We like to share art and post goofy things and talk world building. So if you're interested in joining the Axie stack, you are more than welcome. But I will see you guys tomorrow for games. So have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow, especially if you are not having a day off. I hope that your not day off is good. If you're having a day off, I also hope that you're just having a day off. I hope that you get to rest. Rest as much as you can before you have to go back to doing whatever it is you have to do. And I will see you guys later. Bye!